You and I are listening to another interview for the Renegade podcast, and we are welcoming the one and only Pasquale Veltri. He's obviously, I interviewed him before in my first interviews. That was a great conversation. Now there's gonna be more in depth, more of everything that was the first conversation over a year ago. So yeah, in 3, 2, 1. Hello, bro. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you real good, man.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Hey, bro. My first question to you is, I remember we talked during Comic-Con last week, and I mentioned to you that I don't know, but I told you that you were filming stuff, and can you sort of dive into what you're really doing with that? Because I know you were posting pictures on Instagram for those projects the last year or so.
Well, a mix of different things, really. Some of it's work-based stuff for clients. I'm also working on a couple pitch packages for stuff. So sometimes you make a short film to show people what could be a longer one. So there's about 2 different short films that we're working on.
Okay.
And there's a dance film that's sort of in pre-production. So it's a mix of a lot of different little projects. There's not like a feature or a series. It's stuff in development. We're using these smaller pieces to pitch other projects. So it's a lot of different things for different purposes, really.
Okay.
But it's a little all over the place right now. So because you're just sort of just chasing funding.
Okay, interesting. So for these sort of these short films, you mentioned making a dance film, which is kind of surprising. But can you sort of kind of tell me what's that about? You don't got to tell me the plot or anything, but what's the summary with that? What are you trying to achieve with that?
Well, I've made a bunch of dance films in the past, and also a lot of music videos, which are basically dance films.
Okay.
So the one that we're working on is a little bit about aging out, about a dancer who's just a little bit older, and trying to keep up with younger dancers. It does not really well defined just yet. And then there's another project that's similar, where it's more of an abstract movement thing based on the music. So again, a little all over the place, but you never know what's going to be funded and when it's going to be funded. So you always have to have 5 to 6 things you're kind of trying to do, and then the one thing you're going to make happen no matter what, which is usually a self-contained, simpler thing. Yeah. But the dance film is something I've done years ago, a few times, and you kind of need to just keep making smaller things to just keep getting better at stuff, and to just keep developing. And when people see you doing something new, then they remember you, and then they think of you for something else. So it's kind of it's basically a little bit of marketing, something like a lost leader. You make something, people remember you, they hire you for something else. Yeah. It's every 2 years, you just gotta. It's almost, I'd say, I'm not going to run into what you're doing. I don't think I have the capacity to post everything on YouTube all the time. I wish I could do that, but there's too many different things going on. But 2 to 3 times a year, you just got to make something to remind people you're around.
Okay. That's interesting. That's such an interesting observation, because I think it kind of speaks to the climate that we're in now, where you have to constantly be releasing stuff, constantly be in the news, be at the forefront. And the people that don't do that oftentimes are the ones that get forgotten. And to me, I don't know how to feel about that, because I feel like there's so many great artists in all the mediums of art, or just in general, where when they do something, everybody pays attention to it, and then when they're done, they sort of live their normal lives, and we sometimes almost instantly forget about how great they are, how moving their art can be. And I think, I look at an example. I look at someone I don't know if you heard of this artist, but I think you probably heard of him. I think I look at someone like Terrence Malick, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I look at, and you don't gotta like his art or his art style or anything. You cannot deny that anytime he releases something, it's an event, right? For his fans, for art lovers, for film buffs, for cinephiles. It's an event, and I think we kind of sort of take that for granted. I think when I see somebody sort of kind of try to like, I don't know, I don't know if you've been keeping up with like all the major releases this year, but like you must have saw the trailer for The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and with Terrence Malick, he's like cornerstone, like a pillar of filmmaking, where every filmmaker, even Christopher Nolan, refers to him as an influence, and he's more like a poet. A visual poet. And there's a film nominated this year at the Oscars called Train Dreams, which was basically a Terrence Malick movie. It's just this beautiful postcard about how hard it was to, live before the Industrial Revolution. They're just a logger cutting down trees and poetically talking about his life. It was essentially a Terrence Malick movie.
Yeah.
And that's the influence that filmmaker has. Like, he's so influential. Thin Red Line and all those other movies, like, actors line up to be in his movie. They'll do one line. Like, his casts are insane.
Yeah.
And I think with the problem with filmmakers like Terrence Malick, they're so influential that they can like take over your style.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're so good at what they do that they can like push you in a direction. I think I was pretend to be Terrence Malick for about 3 or 4 years. I think everybody does that.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way of storytelling. It stands out so much because we're so focused on, fast-paced storytelling that this beautiful, epic postcard, poetic story about life comes, and you're like hypnotized because it's not trying to do what everybody else is trying to do.
Yeah. I think that also I think, I think about a film that I think about. I know you watched this film, but there's this film called Unbreakable by M. Night Shyamalan, and again, there is a lot of that Terrence Malick influence, but there's an aspect of it that it does something that I don't think a lot of filmmakers try to do. I feel like attempt to do, which is to sort of flip the established norm of something that's so well known. So it's like how can I say it? It's like instinct. You ask anybody that knows anything about superheroes, there's a laundry list of things, right? And Unbreakable kind of just flips that on its head and subverts it and contorts it, right? And I think we need more films that are, again, like I think every film has something to say about something, right? And I think, say what you want about M. Night Shyamalan. Again, I think he's in a similar vein where, like, anytime a film of his comes out, there's always going to be an instant conversation. It's always going to be divisive. And I always feel like that kind of takes away from what he's trying to do, right? And and I think it's interesting because, before this interview, right? I know you sent me the digital copy of Painting My Life, and I thank you. I thank you for that, because I read through it, and I was, again, like, I read parts of it beforehand, but like I read the whole thing through, and man, my goodness, it's amazing, man. It's so good, and
thanks so much.
And it's and the message about that comic is so powerful too, because like you see the cover, you're thinking it's going to be this gimmicky, like Harry Potter kind of thing. Like, no, it's like, it's about self-love. It's about self-perception. It's about so many things. And I really know, because I know you're working on different projects and stuff, but like, I really hope that comic gets the big screen treatment. Whether it's a TV show, whether it's a blockbuster, I don't care. Like, I think, because I feel like the world needs to see how sometimes loving yourself is the biggest superpower anyone can have. Because it sort of allows you to break all these molds, all these boxes that people have been trying to put other people in forever, right? So,
yeah, it's just one of those bigger stories that's in your head, and sometimes you just have to find a space for it, whether it's a comic or animation or like a shorter version of it.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you just got to do what's possible. And I think I always reference back to the Bruce Lee quote of like being like water, just going where you're allowed to go. Mm-hmm. And, we're just so lucky to even be able to make a comic because it takes just as much time and as much work. And it just allows you to tell a story and then grow from that. Because if you go flip through the comic, you kind of see us learning how to make a comic from the first issue all the way to the end. You can see that, it kind of changes and grows with us as we made that comic. So
yeah,
it was a great experience to get to make that. We're working on a few other things. And of course, we are pitching that, but it depends on the climate. And right now, with the way the world is, it's, hard to get anything that has a bigger budget off the ground. So,
yeah.
You have to find a simpler version of it and move forward with that. Or, sometimes it's okay that it's just a book or a comic because, you got to tell the story that way. And that is a gift.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're absolutely right. And also, I think the one thing I want to say that I'm so impressed by is that the world building. I think there's the amount of lore that you kind of, I wouldn't say you dumped on the audience, but the amount of lore that you sort of kind of inserted without feeling like it's kind of sort of suffocating or ever encompassing. Like the world feels big, but it doesn't feel like it's too big or it's too vast, right? Like the one thing, it's interesting because I remember we was talking about this first conversation that we had, I think over a year ago, where like I remember I don't know if I asked you this, but I asked you like, were you working on a sequel to it? And I think you said like maybe not, kind of thing.
It's one of those worlds where you get lost into it, and there's probably if I dived into it, there could be 10 different stories, plus a children's version of how like the small gargoyle Kibu came to life and things like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to world building, it's like a giant team. We got a team of 3 or 4 people, but really like Ian Wright and Jorge Cortez put together the colors and the art, and really brought it to life. And sometimes you got to simplify stuff because there's too many gargoyles, too many characters, and you have to like hint at the world and not really show it all because then you got like a 1,000-page book that no one can read.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way just to tell a part of the story that matters right now, and then hint at a larger world that the story could grow into.
Yeah. Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. I feel like while I was reading it, one thing I really loved about the comic is the characterization of Alice. How that there's a clear character arc. There's a clear arc, but it's not like she does have her hero's journey, but it's kind of reversed. Like she has to discover parts of herself that she's kind of kept away. Right? And the thing is, like, I had an idea where the story was going, but when you showed that, I think that she was already, like, I assumed that she was, like, in high school because of, right? And then I started reading it, and I'm like, oh, she's past high school. She has a husband, she has a child, and her husband is dying, and she has all these sort of negative emotions. And it's so interesting. It reminds me a lot of Raven from Teen Titans. It's a similar kind of... You know what I'm saying? Similar kind of vibe with the whole, like, inner demon sort of manifesting itself into reality. And she has to sort of kind of conquer that in her own way kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also
a lot of it was...
Cool, I don't want to
just overcoming grief is a big part of a lot of characters. And that's kind of a starting point. And again, because how big the story was, we're kind of telling a piece of it and hope that people could just follow along. And you can't always start with a super happy character. Like you have to take them through stuff and see what happens to them. And you're putting some of yourself in there, and you're trying to figure out how this fits in. And as her journey progresses, she just begins to accept things more and more. And as she accepts herself, she develops the calm she needs to move herself to the end of the story.
Yeah. And the one thing I really loved was, like, the villain was... Because obviously, like, it seems like there's a trend of having, 2 actors play you have, like, 1 actor playing 2 characters. You know what I'm saying? You have Sinners, Michael B. Jordan, shout out to him. He played 2 characters. He's excellent in that movie. He wins the Oscar for Best Actor, and all great. I kind of got a similar vibe with this where, like, you have essentially 1 character... But she's sort of fighting herself, which I think is really cool. That she painted this older version of herself out of frustration, and now this older version of herself feels like she's entitled to see the end of her story instead of the actual person that painted her. And
yeah, it was sort of just a way of examining like how you project yourself. It's easily called painting my life, and that's sort of what she's doing. She's believing that if she puts all her sorrow and frustration into the painting, it won't be with her anymore, and falsely believing that that will get rid of it. And these things that she draws come back to haunt her, and her belief that she could paint a future version of herself that had skipped over the grief and was different and better now, ends up creating an arch villain because she ends up painting a future distorted version of herself that comes to life and, causes most of her problems.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really feel like, and also one thing I also love is like I love how all the side characters all have a clear, definitive purpose, however big or small they might be, but they all serve the story. They're not taking the attention away from what we're supposed to see, but they're not just there to fill up space. And I really, really, really appreciate that, because even the comics that I love, there are certain portions of it I'm like, okay, they're just padding things out. They're putting people in places to make it feel more bigger, more grandiose, right? And I love grandiose stories. That's why I think, like, I mean, I don't know if you watched this movie, but that's why I loved, I'm saying, like, Dark Knight Rises so much, because, like, it's so big, it's so ever-encompassing, it's so like, opera-like, you know what I'm saying, in its own way. And also, there is a little bit of that sort of grandioseness in this story, especially, like, there's a sequence where, like, she's in this Coliseum, and it's, like, something straight out of, like, Gladiator. Like, I love that portion of the story. And also another one where, like, she's like fighting herself, but she's not really fighting herself. I find that a bit of Inception kind of vibes, a bit of Inception in this story as well, with the dreaming and the, you know what I'm saying, is this really real? Is she awake? Is she not? Like, I really love that. I really think it's a really kind of cool story. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really cool story. It's one of those things, like, you think about it in your head, and it sounds really cool, but you can't put it down on paper because it's like, okay, people just gonna think I'm crazy. But I appreciate you guys, your team as a whole, really went for it. You guys didn't hold back. I wanted to sort of give my appreciation to that.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, one, for taking the time to look in and read the whole thing and spend time thinking about it. Yeah, it's always a team effort, and with the amount of characters, then you really have to lean on the editors and your beta readers to just let you know, like, we have this cute little, gargoyle running around, but does he really need to be in every page, or these other gargoyles, or other parts of characters? It can get a little too ambitious. I think even the stories I'm doing now are smaller on purpose because, you learn from that one. Well, that was too many people. How do we simplify it? Like, or you end up like Avengers Endgame, where there's like each character represents a part of the arc because there's just so many people. So one character takes each part of the story is broken down and given to different characters because there's just too many characters, and we wanted to avoid that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think with it's interesting you mentioned the Avengers movies, because Doomsday is going to come out in like late December. Doom's also coming out. Doom Part 3 is coming out on the same day, which I find pretty funny, but that's a different conversation for another day. I think that, I also think the discourse around those kind of movies have just shifted now to something completely different. And, I remember when the first Avengers movie came out, and seeing how everybody was mind blown by the fact that they got this movie made. That even if it was bad, even if it was terrible, the fact is that the fact it got made, the fact that these characters now are on the big screen for billions of people to see all across the world is insane, right? It's crazy. Now it's normal.
Yeah, it's taken for granted.
Exactly, taken for granted. It's not that it's not that dissimilar to, like, I don't know, Messi in soccer. I know, because obviously, like, he's not at his peak. He's not at Barcelona. He's not winning Champions Leagues, I'm saying, every year. But, like, anytime, like, anytime Inter Miami game's on, I'm watching it. Because, I'm saying, because you don't know, right, how these things are with these players. You don't know if this might be the last game he ever plays or last season he ever plays. You have to sort of kind of appreciate what he's done for his whole duration of his career. And I think, there's just, I just think, I know the world, it feels like the world is kind of crumbling right now in certain aspects, but I feel like this sort of constant need of like negativity, it's not going to get us out of this. You know what I'm saying?
There's a desperate need for hope.
Exactly, hope. But that's why I love Project Hail Mary so much.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That movie was the personification of hope, right? Yeah, it might seem a little corny, but like I'm cool with that. Like I look at the people that made it, and the same people that made two of my favorite animated super movies of all time. So like I know like what they're gonna give me is something that's of high caliber, right?
Yeah. And, the darker the time, the more you need movies like this. Like, way back at 9/11, you needed comedies. So movies like Anger Management made a lot of money, and everyone went to see it because they needed to laugh. And now we need to believe that there could be a better future, and Project Hail Mary provides that. Yeah. Characters like Superman, make us believe there could be good people.
Yeah.
And that's, one of those things where, like, you see the news and everything that's happening, and you're like, are there any good people? Is there any, anything that could happen that is positive? And that's, in the darker the time, the more we lean on stories, because we need them.
Yeah, that's why I think, I don't know. That's why, like, at some point, if painting my life does become something much bigger than it is right now, I really feel like people will really connect to it. Because the story is dark at times, but like it's the personification of hope. You know what I'm saying? And I look at an album that came out recently. Have you heard of Ray?
Yeah.
You heard of Ray? Okay, good. Because her album her album came out a couple days ago. It's called This Music May Contain Hope, and it's such a great album, man. Like I've been a fan of Ray for a while. I remember my brother introduced me to her, like, 2016. I was in this EDM phase, like, Trap Nation. I don't know if you heard of Trap Nation, but, like, they were, like, this YouTube channel, have all the hottest, like, EDM, electronic music, dance music joints, you know what I'm saying? And I, she did this song with Jack Jones, You Don't Know Me, and that song's still fire to this day. And I look at her now, and I look at the evolution of someone's artistry, and I always feel like, way too many times I feel like albums get dismissed because they don't fit a particular box that we expect from a genre, from an artist, from a medium in general. I think, and I don't know, this might be a very weird comparison, right? Because I don't like what is your favorite album all time? Like,
oh, well, it's, I guess a mix of maybe some Radiohead stuff, and now I've pushed towards a lot of classical music. So I think I'm a little all over the place.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, when they're writing, they listen to music, and I'm kind of the opposite. I kind of keep quiet.
Yeah.
So it's one of the, because I find like music, it just takes over my brain. I can't do anything else. I went to see, Hans Zimmer live recently. So like, it was like a couple classical instruments and cello, quartet playing all of Hans Zimmer's stuff.
That's cool.
And it's kind of like, for me, it's like so connected where even some of the albums I'm listening to are like soundtracks and movie music.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, even like a song comes out and it hits you like you don't have any idea what it is, and then for like 2 years you're singing Pink Pony Club, like. You don't know what's going to hit you or why. Yeah. So it's one of those things for me. You'd be surprised how much I don't listen to music actually, because even when I'm walking, I don't tend to. So when I do listen to music, it's very purposeful and a time that I carved out for it. Because I don't know. I guess the way that my brain works is like I have to be focused on what I'm doing, and as soon as I start hearing music, it's like I'm just music listening now. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's the thing. Like, so many people I know will be able to, like, I guess they call it multitasking. But for me, it's like if I'm listening to music, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, man, that's a great answer for sure. I find it very interesting. You mentioned that song hits you a certain way, and it just grabs your attention, or someone's voice is. It's so interesting, right? Because, right, like I see these. Are you on Reddit by any instance, or?
I'm on and off Reddit, trying to make sure I'm not on too many different platforms at the same time. But yeah, I'm there.
Okay, so there's like these threads, right, on a website where somebody asks a question, everybody answers it, kind of thing, right? And it's so interesting, like, you know, there's this thread I came across where, like, who has, like, the most annoying voice in music? And you get 100 different answers, and who, what, why, and how and what have you. One thing I find so interesting is, like, you know, sometimes that person's voice being annoying is you kind of fighting the fact that you like listening to it. That you like it some sort of way. So I'll give you an example, right? This is like back in the day, right? I don't know if you remember this era from this artist, but like, there's this, have you heard of Miley Cyrus? I'm assuming you have.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So she had this era in her career where, like, this is after, like, she left Hannah Montana. And this is like, I don't know if you heard this album, maybe you have, but you must have heard of Wrecking Ball, right?
Yeah, of course.
And We Can't Stop. Okay, so... Yeah. So that whole era is called the Bangers era because that's the name of the album, right? And I vividly remember when those songs came out, and they're on the radio all the time, and I couldn't escape it. They were playing at school, they were playing at soccer games, they were playing it on the radio, and I'm just like, this girl's so annoying, bro. I was covering my ears, bro. Like, it was bad for me at the time. But it's so funny because, like, even, like, I remember afterwards, right? It was 2017, and she dropped this album called Younger Now, this country record, right? And some people was mad at her because, like, oh, she was culture appropriate. Again, not my place to speak on that. But the thing was that, I even remember this, grade 8, and it was graduation, right? Dance, what have you. People can pick any song. And I heard Malibu. Right? And Miley Cyrus, I was the lead single at the time. And I felt indifferent, which was weird. Like, it didn't piss me off hearing her voice. Maybe because it was a different kind of song. And then now I'm a massive fan of her music. Right? And
you become accustomed to the lyrics and the way the music flows. The first time you hear a big hit, you don't like it.
Yeah.
The 8th time you hear it, your brain is used to it, and you need to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of how music can get to you.
Yeah.
And as controlled as the industry is, there's always a reason someone's successful. Like, you can get mad at Taylor Swift if you want to, but there's a reason she's so successful. It's not like they can't produce amazing music. It's maybe not for you until you listen to it enough, and then then you're walking around saying you're the monster on the hill, because you're used to it.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned Taylor Swift because the thing is, I never hated Taylor Swift's music, right? I was always very, like, indifferent towards it. If it was on, okay, I can like, live with it, right? Now I'm a big fan of her music because I acknowledge the fact that her music is so much more than what people say it is. Right? And it's so funny. Anytime that someone mentions her, like, she's my goat and she's my favorite artist, yada, 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 there's certain portions of the internet that get really, really pissed off. And it's weird because, like, there was a time where, like, there was a consensus, like, hey, she's one of the greatest to ever do it. Now it's like, well, she was never that great. And I'm just like, huh? Like, granted, look, okay, her last couple records haven't been the best. I'm the first one to say it. But to act like those albums are at least very well produced, very well sequenced. And those albums are good albums to me. Like, maybe I'm more forgiving now because, like, I'm a person that, like, even in a bad album, I try to look for a song or a feature or a melody. And I'm like, you know what? I get where this person's trying to do, kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, it's just an artist can get so big that people just don't want to deal with them. And there's never been a musical artist as big as Taylor Swift, but people don't want to admit that, right? They want to say something like Michael Jackson, sure, but the generational audience that she has is unheard of.
It is.
And it's just, and that's why the internet hate comes. Like, something can get too popular, and then people dislike it for being popular, and that's just how humans are.
It's human nature. I feel like it's human nature to hate on greatness, however it looks, right? I mean, I'm gonna use another sports example, but I look at, like, I don't know, you've heard of this person, but have you heard of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? He plays for OKC Thunder. He's Canadian.
Sounds familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I mentioned his name, because he's kind of dealing with the same thing. Where, like, he's been playing at such a high level for the last, 5 years. Right? He won MVP last year. He's going to win it this year. He won the title last year. He won Finals MVP. He's probably going to do it this year. Right? And now he is approaching the greats that we never thought that someone like him would approach. Think of, like, Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry. Those guys are monuments of modern sports in this country, in North America specifically, right? And now it's looking like Shai's gonna speed right past them, kind of thing, right? The craziest thing was, like, when I first watched him play, it's like, this guy's a great player. But I don't know, like, can you really win a title with them? Like, as your number one option, even as your number two. Now, I mean, like, it's getting scary, man. Like, I was watching a game, like, I watched him yesterday. He dropped, 40-plus points, and, he was going crazy against Detroit, who are in the number one seed at Eastern Conference, right? And it's sort of kind of, like, it kind of told me, like, the way that we speak about people in general is kind of messed up. In general, right? It could be about, musicians or actors or directors or authors, YouTubers, writers, even politicians at a certain extent, right? Where, like, we kind of project this thing onto them, and it's like, it's not in reality, right? And we expect them to be the spokesperson for all these things. And sometimes I think it's warranted, because if you're that popular, you're that big, I think you need to at least take a stand on some things. But, like, you're expecting, like, Taylor Swift to take a stand about a certain topic that we know she doesn't have all the information for. That someone to ask her, she want to answer, we know that they're going to jump on her and say, how dare you say this? Or it could be, like, something totally different, right? You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's like, I don't know, because I don't like this culture of, like, gotcha moments,
Yeah, it's just everyone needs to find a way to put their voice out on the internet, and when you say something negative, you get more attention, and there's just, like who influences the influencers? Like, everyone is an influencer.
Yeah.
Who is the audience, right?
Yeah.
And there's just so many people posting all the time online, and one of the only ways to get noticed is to be negative.
Yeah.
And those are unfortunately sometimes given more play than the positive statements.
Yeah.
It's just how, unfortunately, the internet works.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a consequence of the 24/7 news cycle of culture that we're in. I think it's a consequence of the fact that I just think some people need to get off the internet. Some people need to go outside, take a walk, breathe some fresh air, hang out with some friends, go to the mall, do something, right?
Yeah, I think
you have all that time. Like, I don't know if it should be spent on the internet like that.
Yeah, I think we're all in this moment where you wish you could just undo and delete every social media that we have and just go outside. And we can't. It's just hard. And the constant feed of everything that, the instant, it's a drug, right?
Yeah.
And now they're banning social media for younger people in certain countries.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be a good thing, because it really just damaged people's brain. It's like, works like a casino in your brain with dopamine. And there's no human being can escape it, especially one, say, imagine younger people. Like, so we can't let go of it. Imagine how it is for someone who's younger, where the whole world is opened up into their hand. And it's of course very positive, but it has to be. You have to figure out a way to let go of it.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that, for me, it's like, there was a time where, like, I don't know if there's a time, but there was a time where anytime I had, like, a crush on someone famous, I would, like, go on the internet and, like, just search up everything about them. And it was it was enlightening in some ways. In a lot of ways, it was kind of time wasting. Like, I already know what this person looks like. I already know what they are. Why am I keep searching it? Their name, right? News stays the same. They're not dropping any albums. They're not doing any interviews. Nobody's really doing video essays about them. I think, why am I doing it? I think it's sort of like this dopamine kind of thing, right? Where you're constantly searching for the same thing, and you're getting this rush, right? And it manifests itself mentally. Sometimes it manifests itself physically. But I think we all should, like, take a lesson of, like, just sometimes, man, the beauty. Sometimes you don't need to have something fantastical. This constant, like, how can I say this? This constant attempt to escape. Like, we need more escapism. We need more escapism. Like, no, we don't. We need you guys to understand reality, right? And sometimes some of the most beautiful things that someone could see, so someone might see or could see, is not in a movie, is not in a book, it's not in a video game, or on a phone, or even music. It could be something that you just see outside, right? You walk, and there's certain days where, like, the weather is just right, the sun is shining a particular kind of way. It's shining through the trees and hitting the leaves and the branches in a certain kind of way. And now it feels like you're in a movie, but without actually watching a movie kind of thing, right? So, but I don't know if people really gonna want to do that, right? But
well, it changes how you consume media. It makes it impossible for you even to watch a movie or read a book because you're so used to the content changing so quickly.
Yeah.
So, like, if we could just all leave our phones and go for a walk and not take the phone with us, which is something I've been doing once in a while. I know I might get in trouble for it, but I just leave the phone and, walk around for, like, and the joke that I always tell people, I'm literally the only person looking up. Everyone else is still looking down.
Yeah.
It feels that way, but not everyone's doing that. So you got to do what works for you. And, if only we lived in a world where you could just unplug. But the reality is you still have to do work. You still have to contact people.
Yeah.
And you can't look down at people who can't let go of it, right? Because that's what people have. What are you going to do? You have to find something that works for you and find a balance.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think, I feel, because it feels like there's this incentivization of misunderstanding someone's perspective, I think. And to me, it's like, it's so interesting where, like, there's certain figures, that are in the news or constantly in conversations you sort of take a step back and, like, this is what they want us to do kind of thing. That's constantly be talking about them, constantly be putting them in conversations that they don't really belong in, right? Like, I look at someone like, I don't know, have you heard of J. Cole?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a J. Cole. Okay. Do you listen to his music or anything?
Not in a while, but, the thing is that music kind of comes at me sideways sometimes. I hear...
So I'm assuming you didn't listen to The Fall Off, right? That was his supposed last album they dropped, like, last month.
No, I haven't heard the new stuff yet.
Okay. So he's been doing all these interviews, and granted, I kind of fell in love with his music a while ago, what I'm saying, along with Drake and Kendrick, right? But I decided to watch one of his interviews, like, full, like he did this interview with, like, this YouTube channel called Las Vegas, so, like, this reaction channel to react to hip hop and just music in general. And the one thing that really struck me is that how empty it all felt. You know what I'm saying? It felt so empty, so hollow, so trying to be relatable, trying to be all these things. Look, man, I'm not gonna police how somebody is or how they feel about certain topics, because you're free to do so, right? But also, there's this thing where, like how did I like this guy's music in the first place, right? It to me, it felt so fake, it felt like a facade, and I felt like I duped myself into believing. Granted, like I got out of it before most people have, but like it's so interesting. We're arguing about somebody that really shouldn't really be argued about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's hard to separate the artist from what they may have done or from the beliefs that they have. We won't go down the road of talking about Harry Potter and all that, but
yeah,
it's a good example of like, how do you separate the art from the artist?
Yeah.
Can you appreciate the art if the artist has done something bad? And can you look back at the context of, that was 100 years ago, so of course they were doing that or whatever it was, but now everything's so instant. And then you also got to think of the point of view of the artist, where let's say it's someone promoting a movie and they're talking to a junket and they're answering the same questions for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So it is fake. It's totally fake. Like the people doing the Super Mario press right now, like they must be saying who their favorite character is every 10 minutes to a different press person.
Yeah.
So it's just, endless content for the loop, and hopefully we can, not be trapped into that. But it's all we see. Like, this person's wearing this coat today, this person's wearing that dress. They said this at this interview, and you can get lost in it. And especially if we don't want to go down a political road, but you've got to find a way not to let that consume you. Because if you do, then how can you do any of your work if you're always thinking about how the world is ending or how everything's fake? So it's hard to, of course, if you were off the internet, it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to give time to ourselves and appreciate the album kind of without listening to the interviews if we can sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gives you a lot of information and it can seem like it's helping you understand what's going on, but other times it is just filler. And you never know until you actually give that time. So I think it's hard to curate your life and to, take in the positive stuff without having to then also take on the baggage of the negativity that you hear, and also the artist that maybe is good at expressing themselves in music but can't fit into the marketing aspect of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because, the whole conversation about, can we really separate the art from the artist? And obviously, you must have heard of Kanye, right? And he dropped this album. Huh?
He's a crazy man, but his work is a genius, right? So it's like, can you listen to his older stuff, and appreciate it without thinking of how crazy he is, right? Like, I still walk around, the crazy, like even some of the stuff that in his lyrics, like you should be honored by my lateness, like stuff like that. Like there's just so many little lyrics that come across like poetry or like crazy standoff shot stuff that just stood out so much then and stands out now still. What are you going to do? Like, you think of Shakespeare probably had slaves, but it was the 1800s. It's a different example, but we still read Shakespeare. So how can we still listen to some stuff, or how can you listen to Kanye or read Harry Potter knowing that the person that made it might be a little crazy?
It's not even like a little crazy. It's like, what I'm saying, like, because I listened to Bully, right, when it came out, right? It took me a little bit, like, it was an apprehension, right? It was supposed to be like an AI album, and last minute they recorded the whole thing, okay, whatever, right? And I listened to it, and while I liked listening to it, it felt very like, okay, like this guy, like it felt like, I don't know, man. I felt very like apprehensive about it. Like one song that I liked, I liked listening to it, but I'm not gonna put it on my playlist. It's a song called "Father," featuring Travis Scott. It has this crazy sample and these Yeezus kind of style sound, and I love that album. It's like my favorite record ever. But I listened to it, and Travis kind of sliding on it, but like I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. Like, it's better than I thought it would be, but it's like, I know for a fact, 15 years ago, hell, 10 years ago, he would have scrapped this record for something better, right?
Yeah, he would have put more money into it. I heard about it being AI, so I just didn't bother.
It's not AI. It's not AI.
Yeah.
It's not AI. So thankful for that. But like, I don't know. It felt like a missed opportunity. And that's what it felt like. And now I feel like he's doing this. Now he's going to tour around the world. And it sort of exposes the fact that a lot of like a lot of the hate that an artist can get feels very performative. Like, for example, like I look at the whole chaperone situation where like supposedly she was being a bit of a prick to a kid that's like a very famous kid, like how can I say this? Jorginho's kid. Jorginho's he's like this soccer player. He was very good at his time. Played for Chelsea. That's my team. Played for Arsenal. Played for Napoli. So he had a great career, right? You know what I'm saying? He's playing in Brazil, and Chaperone was doing like a tour in Brazil or something like that. And she had this confrontation, and it was kind of got a little nasty. But it felt, but also it's like we don't really know all the sides of the story, kind of thing. For a full week, she was getting dragged through the mud. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. And I know you mentioned social media. And I think social media is a big part of this problem. But it felt like we were making like molehills out of nothing. Right?
Yeah, well, it's you can go back to Britney Spears or any artist, and once they get to a certain level, they're under a microscope. And I don't know exactly what happened, but because of who she is and what she represents, she's going to get, more negativity than someone else. It doesn't justify whatever she may or may not have done. But when you're in the spotlight like that, it's just an issue. And I think one of the things that I've tried to do, which is hard, it's like your algorithm knows you, right?
Yeah.
So it's still showing you all this behind the scenes stuff of these famous people, right? So sometimes I wish we could just reset our algorithm if they would let us do that. So you go back to the beginning and, purposely try to look at positive things so you're not dragged into it. Because you click on one news story about war, and then it's going to show you 50 more news stories about the war.
Yeah.
You click on one, gossip story about a celebrity, and it's going to keep showing you that. So I think I wish I could reset my algorithm or train it not to show me bad stuff. So every once in a while, I'll purposely sit there and just, look up books or look up movies or look up things I know I'm okay with seeing.
Yeah.
In an attempt to get the algorithm to stop showing me that one time I clicked on a negative news story.
Yeah.
And I this is a silly thing to even think about, but it's one of those things where you can block the words all you want. It'll still get through into your algorithm. So I'm not pretending to know how it works. I just know that it just, once you click on something once, it's going to keep showing you the same thing again. So I wish we could all just reset our algorithms and,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. I mean, it's so interesting, right? But one last example I would say in regards to this, have you seen the last season of Stranger Things?
Yeah, I got caught up. I honestly didn't get to season 4 until the 5th one came out. And but because I got to, the end of season 3 was so satisfying for me, and then season 4 came out. I can't. It feels like the same thing again. I need a break. If you take a break and go back, then it's okay.
Yeah.
It's an amazing how they made that show, how it was ever made. No one will ever get that money again. Game of Thrones level stuff. It's I'm not once in a generation kind of show.
Yeah, it is.
In terms of what it is, it's just because the only thing that bothered me a little bit about it is because of Netflix. Every 20 minutes, they re-explain everything. Tell you, there's always let me. I know I'm not a physicist, but let me explain to you how physics works. And the 16-year-old kid is explaining black holes, and it's for the audience. Since the beginning of Titanic or Star Wars, is always a holographic image. We're going to go and do this, and this is going to happen. You explain to the audience exactly what you're going to do, like a bank robbery, and then you go and do it. So that's what they're doing, and that's the only thing that stood out a little bit for me. But it had a good, clear ending, and they stuck the landing. And again, I'm not saying it's perfect, but there's nothing else on that's ever been made like it before.
Yeah.
As much as it is a copy of everything, let's be honest, it was started off as Spielberg nostalgia.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's probably going to be timeless, and people will go back to.
Yeah, exactly. You had these. I think we had the same take about the season 5. I really like season 5. Now, it has issues, right? Like some of the CGI is a little wonky. Some of the acting is kind of like I feel like you guys are kind of folding it in, but like you could tell there's clear love for it, right? There's clear love for what they have been trying to do for the last like 10 years, right? And because they so easily could have made this like a Walking Dead kind of thing, where like could have extended for 10 seasons and 12 seasons and all these spinoffs. I really appreciate they ended it with 5. Because anything beyond that, I think they would have probably lost me. I would have still tuned in. I would have still loved it. But I think it would have been the same thing with Walking Dead. We're like, okay, guys, like, I think it's time to finish this show up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
like when things are in England, like things made in Britain, they always have 2 or 3 seasons, and it finishes 6 episodes a season.
Yeah.
And it just ends. But here, everything has to be just keep going forever.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and the thing is, the aspect is, like, I feel like, again, because I mentioned, you know, performative hate. I feel like a lot of the hate for this season are more like just, you know, certain actresses on the show. Like, I look at, like, I mentioned Millie Bobby Brown first time we spoke. I'll probably dive into her a little bit deeper than here. I feel like a lot of the criticism against her feels performative. It feels just like we're just nitpicking. We're just hating just to hate. And look, is she the GOAT? No, she's not the GOAT. She's not Meryl Streep. We know that. We understand that. If we think everybody be like Messi, then you're not going to watch football or soccer because you're not going to be able to, again, appreciate everyone else kind of thing, right? Where, look, okay, I feel like, again, because it feels like, you know, she's been dealing with this thing where, like, people have been trying to, like, sort of kind of sexualize her when she was just a kid, and that's really messed up, especially in light of what's been coming out recently with the files and everything, right? And, you know, it's to me, it's like, I don't know, I just really feel like, I don't know who she pissed off, or maybe...
Well, she was just got too popular. We talked about that.
Yeah.
She was such a big star, and, you know, whether... Like, everyone gets a turn, right? Anne Hathaway got too big, so everyone didn't like her for a while.
Yeah.
Who do they not like now? I forget. Now they don't like Timothy. He's too big. Well, because he just got too much marketing, right?
Yeah.
Too big. And that's all it is. And another thing with Stranger Things is it's ending, and people don't like endings. They don't like what they love to end.
Yes.
Right? No matter what TV show it is, Lost,
Sopranos,
Friends, or whatever it is, people don't want to be reminded that things end.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're really hitting against that more than no show's going to be perfect. But it's more that people don't want to be reminded that things end. They don't want to remember.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want this taken away from them.
Yeah.
You know, that's why people lost Game of Thrones, whatever it is. And yes, maybe those didn't have perfect endings, but did it really deserve the hate that it got? It's because people are not ready for things to end, especially when they love them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's why I find it so funny where, you know, I hear like certain like detractors, the MCU, say, oh, it should have ended at Endgame. Oh, it should have ended at this point. I'm like, you guys would have still complained about it.
Yeah.
Some shape or form. You know what I'm saying? And look, okay, look, man, it's so funny. Like, it feels like the MCU is like the new like Transformers. It's this punching bag for everything that's wrong with the world. It's the MCU or Transformers' fault, and I never really understood that. Like, look, man, like when Transformers finally ended, like the Bayverse and stuff, it's so funny. Now all those same people are like, man, we need that to come back. Life was great when those things were coming out. I'm like, maybe because you were just a kid. Maybe because you're young, man. When you're young, everything is amazing. And honestly, low-key, I think we need to adopt that kind of mentality. Where you just enjoy things. Just enjoy it. Not just because of some quota or some kind of, like, I have to, like, you know, saying critique it because it's this YouTuber said this about this thing. Like, you know, I think we're in this, you know, culture of just hating on everything, hating on everybody. Why is this person getting more hate? Why is this person isn't getting more hate? Like, super, super toxic kind of way to live. Like, and I understand a lot of it is frustration. And also, I think a lot of it is jealousy, man. Like, jealousy is a disease, bro. Like, self-hatred is a thing, man. And you see someone, you know what I'm saying, like Millie, where she's earning more money than a wide receiver would ever make in a year, right? And, like, and you're thinking, like, okay, there must be a reason why she's getting this. Oh, she did this, or she did that, or he did this, or you mentioned Timothy. It's like, I think a lot of the Timothy hate is the same thing, right? I made a video about Timothy and how social media can't really handle actors like him because it reminds them of their own sort of insecurities in a way, right? And, you know, I never forget this. There was a time where, like, in my life where, like, I felt defeated, where I felt like I wasn't really gonna amount to anything. This is like before, like, I was in middle school, right? And it was weird because, like, I was getting okay grades. I had friends, but it felt like, okay, I need more. And sometimes your your worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? And now, instead of dealing with that within or sort of introspecting through that, now people are sort of lashing out on social media in real life. You know, and it's like anytime somebody, it's like stalkers. You know, like anyone who sort of stalks a famous person, it's the same thing because they think they're entitled to that person or that image of that person is in reality when it could further be from the truth, right? So yeah.
Yeah, we just compare ourselves to the impossible, and wonder why we don't have it, and it creates a lot of problems for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last thing I'll say about this is that, you know, like the one statement that I hate is like, what is this movie made for? Like, who's the audience? I'm like, come on, let's not act dumb here, right? There is an audience for something, for anything. That's why they're making it, right? They assume, or they have their calculations or demographics. Okay, this demographic is gonna like this portion of it. This demographic like that portion of it. It's simple math, right? That's my pet peeve. So,
yeah, you can find something to like in everything.
Yeah,
but most people find something not to like. So, you know, you can, you know, either just like if only people would only talk about the things they cared about and loved instead of what they hated. It'd be a different social media experience.
It would be a different world in general, for sure. For sure. What was your favorite album of last year?
I don't even know because again, my musical background, I guess, because I can't remember the name of the classical artist right now, but it's like, I think I was listening to some Rachmaninoff, believe it or not. So there you go. That's where I'm at now. Correct. I stopped following trends and went back to like I'm not going to call it walking music, but it's more of if you can actually hear the instruments and just the way that they can push you towards feeling something in a different way. Yeah. Because sometimes the music is like it's not trying to be a pop song. I think sometimes I got burnt out on the 3-minute song. Yeah. So I was looking just for something that has more ups and downs and pushes and pulls. Yeah. And there's a piano performer from Quebec, Jean-Michel Blaise, who's a Canadian. I went to see him live. That's cool. So I don't remember the name of his album, but he had an album that came out, and they really do a lot of work supporting artists from Quebec. And this is an amazing pianist who, tours around and stuff. So I'm going to go with Jean-Michel Blaise. Okay, that's a good answer. What was your favorite movie of last year? Let's see. So, all those movies, like last year's 2025, right? So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Superman. And here's my reasoning. It just was about being nice to people and how an old character from the 50s, it's like from the 30s really, who can only be good and is always honest and is always kind and always full of hope doesn't belong in our world anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, it's for kids and everything, but the sheer idea that there could be a person like that gives you hope.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of Superman, is how could this person exist?
Yeah.
And it's so polar opposite to what we see in the news.
Yeah.
That I kind of have used last year. I used that movie to protect me from the news, and I'm still doing it. Because we need stories like that. Like Project Hail Mary is another example. A story that shows us the possibilities of what humanity can do versus what we see in the news.
Yeah.
So I think that's, honestly, for me, as much as, Hamnet, Train Dreams, all those Sinners are amazing movies, they were challenging you. And I think with the way the news and social media and everything challenges us in the world, we need this escapism. So I specifically last year needed that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great answer. Another movie that really stood out to me last year, even though it's two movies. Both of these movies are sort of critically, they're like divisive at best. I loved watching Tron Ares, man. I loved that movie so much, bro.
Yeah, I saw it by accident. It was a friend's birthday. He wanted to go, and I didn't even know it was coming. We saw it. It was like an amazing 3D.
Yeah.
And it's like the best music video I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Like, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Escapism is escapism. And they play that loud bass music at the beginning to like tease you and let your brain know this is how loud we could be.
Yeah.
And they pull it away. Just the way they use the sound in that. And as much as people want to, be negative about it, it is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And
the music, and then seeing it in a proper cinema with 3D and the sound. Yeah. And it's also shot by these people, like Cromwell, guy who shot Fight Club.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
Like, it's like the most technically proficient everything, right? Yeah. And there's something to be said for that. As much as I jokingly called it a Nine Inch Nails music video. Yeah. It is a very beautiful and amazing sounding movie that actually hits you because of how good the sound is. Yeah. Yeah, I still, like, that first scene where, like, he kind of gets downloaded into existence. That's probably my favorite scene I've ever seen. Like, just period. Like, it was just, like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm like, it was everything I wanted to be and more. And granted, look, it would have been cool to see Sam and Cora. That would have been amazing. But, like, what we got was, man, that was special, man. Like, I know there was apprehension, all that stuff. But, like, man, I had such a blast with it. Another movie that really stood out to me was Him. Have you watched it? I didn't see that one. I did. I was excited for it, and then I didn't. It's on my list. I saw Weapons, and I saw a bunch of the other horror movies this year. And then I got burnt out on horror for now. I'm gonna get there. Did it blow you away? Man, dude, look, I love that movie. Honestly, the way that I watched it was so funny. So my brother he had to go to work, right? He works, right? He works downtown, and he's like, hey, you want to hop along? I'm like, yeah, cool. And then he's like, he bought me tickets for the movie, and I watched it by myself, and I had such a blast, man. I had such a blast with that movie. Yeah. Because I'm not really into horror like that. Like, I love the imagery of horror. You know what I'm saying? I love the imagery of horror, but I can't really watch a horror movie unless someone's beside me so I can hold on to their hand. Yeah, it depends on the movie, but sometimes I'd rather watch them at home so that you can pause it if you need to, depending on what it is. Yeah. But it's really your taste, but and it's different when you see a movie by yourself, right? Yeah. But it's also a freeing experience where you don't have to worry about anybody that's with you, right? So, yeah. For sure. What is your favorite movie of all time? Oh, so this is always changing, and I think it's like, your letterbox top 4 kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But let's pretend it's letterbox top 4, and I think for now I've got Parasite, The Matrix. Now my brain forgets the name of the Jim Carrey movie where you forget people.
Is it Truman Show?
No, Truman Show I just watched, which I think I hadn't seen in forever, and It blew me away again. But I think for me, honestly, it's probably The Matrix right now.
That's a brilliant movie.
Where, I can go back to it, and everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
It's like they're like one's the child of another. But I think, I saw that when it came out, but I watched it again recently. So, as much as Parasite's amazing, it makes you sad. So I think for me, I'm leaning towards the movies that uplift you now, instead of I'm joking about talking about last year's Superman being my best movie. But for me, right, The Matrix and Everything Everywhere All at Once, those 2 movies for me stand out as the pinnacle of what you can do.
Yeah.
And just the amount of emotional arcs that were in Everything All at Once. It's just how did they do that?
Yeah.
And then the simplicity but complex nature of The Matrix, where restarted and reinvented everything.
Yeah.
And they're still copying it today. It's still being copied.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like how people are kind of copying concepts that the original Tron was doing in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still doing that too. And I just, that stands out to me so much. But you ask me again tomorrow, it'll be 3 different movies maybe. Yeah. But those are the ones that stay with me.
Yeah.
Because movies that over time become your friends. This is how I see it, because I spend too much time watching movies. But there's movies you watch once a year, once every 2 years. And, you see something different or something new because you changed slightly.
Yeah.
And you see a different level in the movie that wasn't there before for you. And it's not just a comfort thing. It's more just a different way of seeing something you thought you knew.
Yeah.
And, I also love Cloud Atlas.
Oh, that was good.
But it's not The Matrix. It's Cloud Atlas breaks your mind because of the things that they've done, the editing, the way the book also destructured the narrative in that way. But, minute per minute, The Matrix is just this perfect template of an uplifting story.
Yeah.
And scary at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great answer. For me, it would have to be Tron Legacy. I remember watching it for the first time, and me and my family always tell this story anytime anyone asks me about the movie. And just seeing, I'll say this, right? You know how there's movies inside of movies kind of thing? Where in every Raimi movie, there's this 5-minute section of it. It could be in another movie in and of itself. Tron Legacy has that. The first 15 minutes, all the real world stuff was so well done, so well shot, so well soundtracked. It's so obvious that a lot of it felt very Fincher-esque. That's why I love David Fincher so much, because he kind of takes that kind of thing and just sort of takes it to a whole new kind of way. But my goodness, I remember this. There's a sequence where Sam Flynn, as a kid, he sort of runs out of the house. He's sort of running away, and he hops, and then he rides his bicycle, and then it does this wicked ass transition to him riding a Ducati as an adult. He's riding through traffic. Daft Punk soundtrack is blasting in the movie, and it's just it hooked me. It hooked me, man. And I never ever not watch it at least once every month, let alone every year. I watch the movie 100 times. It still blows me away, and I think that's what art is at its best. It changes the way that you look at the human condition, changes the way that you look at reality in a positive way, right? That's why I can never piss on a movie, honestly. Even a very bad... I look at a movie I don't know if you watch this movie, but I look at a movie like Paul Blart Mall Cop. I don't know, very silly movie. Kevin James, I love Kevin James. Like, I think he's a very funny dude. Granted, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't agree with everything that he says now. But at that time, he was unstoppable, man. That movie's hilarious. It still holds up. It's a very interesting transition because it made a lot of money for the budget was only like 20 million, over like 200 million, something like that. And I feel like even a movie like that could hit you in a certain kind of way, right? That's why, like, you know, even the very bad movies could have scenes that sort of move you. And, you know, that's why, like, you know, again, I'll bring it back to this way. That's why, like, this obsession of, like, trying to hate on everything, it's just kind of pointless to me. But, you know.
Yeah, like right now I'm just chasing after Jim Carrey movies because I saw that I've talked watching The Truman Show just because, you know, it's like Robin Williams and stuff. Like, nothing's more important than the comedian who makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Because those movies are what you need. You don't need the dark, brooding Terrence Malick movie. You do sometimes, but not every year. Every month, every day. You need to be uplifted by a movie the way you're uplifted by music or any kind of art.
Yeah.
And, you know, we need what brings us happiness and hope.
Yeah.
Instead of the despair that we see around us.
Yeah, for sure. We're reaching the end of the interview, and I'm gonna do this Q&A thing where, like, you have a choice between two artists or two movies or two filmmakers or what have you. You have to pick either or. You can't say both. And you want to explain the reason why you made your choice. You're free to do so. Cool with that?
Hey.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. Okay. Painting My Life or Our War?
I've met the Our War guys, and briefly, it's hard because the you're talking about the comic guys, the Our War comic, right? Yeah. And I'm, you know, not going to automatically pick their work because of that. It's because I would say I'm going to pick Painting My Life because Our War is about a war.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. that's
both great books. It's just as we were just talking about, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Robert Jackson Bennett or Patrick Ness?
I don't know if I've read enough of Bennett's stuff. I know he was on. I think I saw him on Two Ferns. Jeez. Well, City of Blades, maybe. I think I read that one.
Yeah, that was a great book.
Yeah. So we'll go with Robert Jackson Bennett because I don't think I've read the other person's right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Harry Potter or Dresden Files?
What's the second one?
Dresden Files. It's like this fantasy.
Dresden. Okay, yeah. I'll go with Harry Potter.
Okay.
Because it's, you know, it's like a building block from when you were younger, kind of thing.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Okay.
That's his case. And he just got to do more, and he's a poet, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But, you know.
Okay. Kanye or Kendrick Lamar?
Now I would have to go with Kendrick. 10 years ago, I would say Constant.
Okay. Drake or Lil Wayne?
Mainly because I still like to shut things down on the mall. I'll say Drake.
Okay.
But I don't think I've heard any of his new stuff in so long.
Okay. Future or Young Thug?
Man. I don't even know if I know any Young Thug stuff, so let's say Future.
Okay. Alright. Miley Cyrus or Olivia Rodrigo?
I go with Miley. Because I think this is a funny story for you is because sometimes I miss a lot of the bigger hits.
Yeah.
And then I hear them like in a grocery store in the mall, and then you hear it so much.
Yeah.
That you know the song, but you don't know why.
Yeah.
And I think for a while, most of the bigger Miley stuff, like I Can Buy Myself Flowers, like that one eventually just was everywhere.
Yeah.
And and I don't think Olivia's broken through
the same way
to the same way just for me yet, because I don't know any of her stuff. I'll be honest. She's out of my demographic.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
Okay. Billie Eilish or Lana Del Rey?
I'm gonna say let's go with Lana, because I think, again, Billie Eilish, I barely could name a couple songs.
Okay. Stanley Kubrick or Christopher Nolan?
I'm gonna say Kubrick, because everybody would say Nolan now, and because I think without Kubrick there would be Nolan.
Yeah, that's fair. Quentin Tarantino or Terrence Malick?
Oh, well, we talked about Terrence Malick a lot today, so let's say Terrence Malick, because I think I rewatch Terrence Malick stuff once every couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really rewatch Tarantino as much. Like, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to watch it a million times. So.
That's fair. Paul Thomas Anderson or the Coen Brothers?
I'm going to go with the Coen Brothers, even though Paul Thomas Anderson's done a lot of really amazing stuff. There Will Be Blood is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the Coen Brothers was like the alphabet of filmmaking when I was starting out, where I have one of their books, all their stuff, and even how they shoot with their lenses. It's like, part of my DNA, I guess.
Okay. Tron Legacy or Tron Ares?
I think I know they're not the same movie, but I think of them in the same movie. I'll go Ares.
Okay. Okay. Trent Reznor or Marilyn Manson?
Trent Reznor. I don't know if Marilyn Manson's even had a song in 700 years.
Okay.
That's he does soundtracks now too.
Yeah, he does. He's amazing. 9 Inch Nails or Nirvana?
I guess at the time I was more of a Nirvana kid.
Yeah.
But now I don't think I would listen to either of them right now. It's too much angst. But I love the soundtrack to Tron. But if you go back to their back catalog, it's just so much sadness, which is wonderful. But as we're talking about, we're trying to shed that away.
Yeah. Okay. James Gunn or Sam Raimi?
That's a tough one, but I'd say just because of the last couple of years, I'd say James Gunn, just because just the positivity of Superman and the silliness of Peacemaker and even the Suicide Squad stuff is just a little bit more uplifting than Raimi stuff, which is amazing. But sometimes you have to let go of the older movies.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough, but you can't.
Spider-Man or Batman?
I was always a Batman.
Okay.
But Spider-Man's more hopeful. You are correct.
Okay.
I think I just grew up with Batman.
Pokemon or Beyblade?
Well, I'm a definite more of a walk around and touch Pokemon kind of person. So.
Okay, that's fair. Beyonce or Prince?
I'm gonna say Prince. Okay. I'm just gonna throw that out there because his music's not behind a secret paywall that I can hear.
Okay.
Can you even hear any of Beyonce's stuff without being on their secret app?
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Flume or Kaytranada?
I don't think I know either DJ.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Deadmau5
I'm proud that I knew they were DJs, but I don't know their stuff.
Okay. Deadmau5 or Tiesto?
I have to say Deadmau5. Okay. I'm just more used to there.
Okay, that's fair.
They may even be Canadian. So.
Yeah. Star Wars or Mission Impossible?
That's really a tough one because I love Star Wars and I grew up with it. And I know a lot of people that have kept watching it, but I think after high school I did this thing where I forced myself to stop watching it.
Yeah.
So I used to watch like the original trilogy every year around the holidays. And I just kind of stopped doing that after high school.
Yeah.
And I think based on, I'm going to say Star Wars, but Mission Impossible is probably, has had a better run with some of the movies.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Like number 6 and is like this masterpiece, but just because I grew up with it, I'll switch back to Star Wars. But it's like there's almost too much Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you on that. Stranger Things or Game of Thrones?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Game of Thrones because of the first 4 seasons. But ask me again in a couple of years. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Millie Bobby Brown or Megan Fox?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's give Millie some love because we've been dragging her apparently, and let's go with that because who knows what Megan Fox is even doing.
Yeah. Interesting. Sabrina Carpenter or Chappell Roan?
I go with Chappell because I don't think I can name a Sabrina song. Okay. I know Cappuccino now that I'm saying it, but like I'm going to think of Sabrina Carpenter as like my niece's music. So at a certain point you're like, you know what, that one's not for me.
Okay.
All I'd have to do is listen to her song, for 3 weeks, and I'd be in love with the music because you just have to listen to it, right?
Yeah.
They're so well constructed, but
yeah.
Still at the Pink Pony Club over here. That's what we're doing.
Taylor Swift or Paul McCartney?
Oh, man. Wow. I'm going to say Paul McCartney so I don't get beaten up by anybody. But I think that in 50 years, people won't distinguish the two. They'll be just as big.
Yeah. I would see on that. Tom Brady or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
Okay. All right. Steph Curry or Magic Johnson?
Just because I've seen him play more Steph Curry.
Okay. Kawhi Leonard or Kevin Durant?
Durant.
Okay.
Now, I think I saw a couple documentaries where not just the MJ documentary, but the one about the Olympic team and things like that. So but some of these I'm gonna start losing you on some of the basketball players soon.
Yeah. Okay. Barry Bonds or Babe Ruth?
I'll say Bonds because for me, Babe Ruth's not a real player. I've never seen him. I don't know anything about him, but I think we all remember Bonds in a couple of years where he's just so many home runs.
He went nuclear, yeah. Oh boy.
Hope I'm getting some of these right.
Yeah. I'm thinking. Peanuts or Calvin Hobbes?
Oh, Calvin Hobbes, 100%.
Okay.
Like the pain in my life. Come on. It's almost the same thing.
It is. You know what? Actually, That's a funny point. I do see some similarities for sure.
You don't think about it sometimes, but
Yeah. Okay. Alice or Raven? Teen Titans.
I'm saying give it to Raven.
Okay.
The powers.
All right. Captain America or Wolverine?
I don't know. Let's say I'll go with Wolverine, but if that's the peak of Civil War, I would have said Captain America.
Okay. All right. Okay. DC or Marvel?
I'm definitely more of a DC kid, just because of how I grew up and stuff. But I'll still, I don't read as much Marvel, but I've seen all the movies and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but I just tend to read more of the DC stuff.
Okay. Tom Cruise or Jackie Chan?
Oh, I'm going to say Jackie Chan, even though I'd say it's...
Okay. Yeah, Denzel Washington or Samuel L. Jackson?
Let's go with Denzel on that one.
Okay. Tom Hanks or Morgan Freeman?
Who doesn't love to listen to Morgan Freeman say things? Let's go with Morgan Freeman.
Okay. Ryan Coogler or Jordan Peele?
Man. It says a year, so we'll go with Coogler.
Okay. Barry Jenkins or Spike Lee?
Spike Lee.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Haley Steinfeld or Zendaya?
I'll give that one to Haley for now.
Okay. Sinners or Dusk Till Dawn?
Well, I'm going to say Sinners, but like it's just this ridiculous idea that someone thought they were the same, but they're not.
Yeah. The Dark Knight or Avengers Endgame?
Let's say The Dark Knight.
Okay. Dark Knight Rises or The Winter Soldier, Captain America?
I'd say Captain America because it's just the stunts in that. I can still see them in my brain. Say the title.
Yeah. Marilyn Monroe or Audrey Hepburn?
Oh, Audrey on that one.
Okay.
Quite the list going.
Yeah. Jessie Buckley or Olivia Colman?
Oh, Olivia Colman's more fun.
Yeah.
Jessie Buckley's always sad.
Yeah.
She's great, but always sad.
Okay. Ray or Tove Lo?
Again, I probably know one song each, so I don't think I can pick this.
Okay. Bonus question. GTA or Last of Us?
I'm not really a race guy, but I'm also not a shooter. So I'm going to pick Death Stranding.
Okay. Need for Speed or Forza?
Oh, man. Not a race car guy for games. Sonic, no, joking. Ratchet and Clank. I'm just going to give you a different game.
Yeah. Okay. Bonus one. Ryan Gosling or Chris Pine?
Well, I think they'd be great in the movie together. But for this year, we're going to give it to Ryan.
Okay, and second bonus one. Uber or public transportation?
It depends what you're doing. I would love to Uber, but it's only when it's work that we're allowed to. So we'll go public transportation.
Yes, that's the last question. Real honor interviewing you. This was a lot of fun. I'm always gonna root for you, man. So if Painting My Life ever comes out, bro, just know like I was one of the first like people to like support it like big time. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, and thanks for the support and for reading the stuff, and for taking the time to go through it the way you did, man.
Yeah, for sure. So last mini question is like, when I do get this posted at some point, hopefully very soon, would you be open to like promoting it on your channel, or not channel, but on your social media and stuff?
Yeah, just let me know with enough time that it's going to come out, and I'll post it in the usual places and stuff.
Yeah.
And, go from there. If you need any pictures or if you want screen like some stills from Painting My Life or anything, let me know. I'll just shoot them your way.
Okay. Thank you. See you, bro.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time, man.
Bye. And that is another episode of Renegade Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Say if you enjoyed this one, put this one together. Bye.